Now, I did predict this, but that's like me saying water makes you good and healthy. But as you know today, Seville race against Noah. So let me stop talking and just put up this. This is the race in Lausanne, Switzerland. Oblique Seville race against Noah. Look at these people. This is no different from the London race, you know. It's not even close. And here's what's interesting about that race. When Seville runs against Noah, when he runs against Kishane, he pulled Kishane in. Because at 80 meters, Kishane is starting to regress. His deceleration is much quicker than most of the other runners, frankly. Especially Zarnel Hughes and Noah Lyles. I'll play it again, people, because if it's nice, you have to play it twice. You have to play it twice, people. You have to play it twice. Now, look at this race. Sabini is running down the track nowadays. Blake, you know what I like about this too? Blake has a brilliant start. We're running one more time, people, because, you know, you have to do it 3 times. Twice. Look at Blake's start. Ackeem Blake, look at his start and look at Seville's start. Because they're out of the blocks like shots fired. We know Noah is slow. Look at Blake. Blake is ahead right there, you know. First 2 steps, he's gone. But he's an 80-meter runner. At 80, look how Noah can pull Blake in. They're going to be run the same time. But look how Noah pulled Blake in. But he can't pull in Seville. He doesn't pull in Seville at all. And I am, you know, when I had this, you know, I'm going to say this actually. To Leighton Levy and Leighton, like you showed, Mr. Analyst was watching your show last night, doing a very good job. Keep up the good work as usual. That's what we expect from you. You're a professor in this space. You're a guru in this space. If you haven't subscribed to Mr. Analyst, the Leighton Levy show, you know, Leighton Levy was at Sportsmax, big time Jamaica sports commentator, not track and field, and newspaper person, and he's been doing a good job. But when he was on my program, he did say this.
The reality is that if Oblique can get past the mental side of that thing and put whatever happened in the past behind it, which is a lot easier said than done, and run like he knows he can win it. And similar for Kishane as well.
So he's very big on Oblique, actually, and he said that Oblique there is some mental issue there, and there's also, when he runs the rounds, some buildup of some fluid or something in his body that precludes him from operating a certain way. And if you look at the field, this is the field, and these are the times, right? Seville was the only person under 10 seconds, just like when Kishane won, in the Kishane time. What Noah ran? 9.9. That's not true. In Kishane's race, Noah was under 10. Noah ran 9.9. So you look like he was getting better. Kishane ran the same time as Oblique. The difference between Oblique and Kishane time is this. The weather conditions here were awful. Raining all day, wet, slow track, soggy. He still ran 9.87. And he won easily. You know that Kishane beat Noah by 0.03. This is different. He beat him by 0.15? That's a big distance in a 100-meter race. Right? Everybody has run 10 plus. You know that Ackeem Blake is quality. People, if we can get our 4x1 team to practice, which is an imperative, which is important, Ackeem starting off, Oblique run the second leg, Lavelle run in the corner, which he destroys a lot of times, and Thompson bring it home, we can even afford some not the best batting change and still beat most teams. US going to be tough with if the runners that they have, with Coleman starting for them. They'll have Bednarek, they'll have Lyle. But right now, we may have 3 of the 4 fastest men in track and field. 3 of the 4 fastest, especially over the 100. Because if Lavelle didn't run out at the trials and then placed 3rd, the fact that he ran what did he run? 9.86 or 9.82? One of them? What did he run? 9.86 or 9.82? One of those. He is one of the fastest runners currently. And he's young and he's getting stronger and he's getting better every single day. I'm going to love to see him in the 200 against Noah. Yeah, Kishane supposedly has some spur injuries, some heel spur, whatever it is. He has some injury. There's a cranky. When Seville beat Kishane, talk to me. Kishane is like both. Everyone. Yeah, no. Here's the thing. I think Oblique can beat Kishane. I don't think Kishane handles. So Kishane, you know that Noah say he has Kishane in his pocket? Kishane has Seville in his pocket. I don't think Noah has Kishain in his pocket, right? But he's beating him, and that makes him more comfortable. But he's barely beating him. Not like he beat him by how he got beaten twice by Seville. Seville has destroyed Noah 3 times now, you know. When they ran last year in Jamaica, Seville beat him easily. He beat him easily in London, and he beats him now. Because you know why? His deceleration is much slower than Kishain, because Kishain is always leading when the tape is not there, right? And start tying up at 80. If you look at Kishain's race, he's way out in front come to 50. And then his deceleration is happening faster than, say, a Noah, for example. Oblique can maintain his speed for a longer period of time, and it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So I would expect if Oblique can get through the rounds, which is what his problem is, that would be a different story. 982, okay. If you can get through the rounds, and look, Oblique in Jamaica, here's what we're forgetting to Odell. You remember the race in Jamaica with Oblique when he's going through his mental situation? I think he thought he was going to pull because he had a problem in the semifinal. You have to remember that he didn't get the best of start. Kishain was way out in front. He still ran, 982 when Kishain ran his 975. And he had a poor start by his standard. Poor start. If he had gotten a better start, it may be a different race. I don't think Kishain can pull him in because Kishain's start is so explosive. He's so strong when he's out the blocks. But I think if he gets side by side with Kishain, it's a different race. It's going to be interesting. Stefan says, Cranky, Kishain and Oblique are doing well over the proof in the pudding. So, I'll reserve them. Yeah, but look, we can only go by what's happening now. And they both look phenomenal. Now, what you don't want is for them to peak too early, right? Still a month before the championship. We don't want to peak too early, but early evidence suggests it's going to be a good world championship. Unlike the Olympics, where we got 1 gold medal in the field events, I'm optimistic that we can get 1 in the men, 4x1, at least those 2. We can't get nothing in the jumps anymore. You know, Gail won today because people like Pinnock are now they're now Turks, or they're Turkish resident. They're not Jamaicans anymore. And I was thinking about that today. And I've said this before, which is this: a lot of Jamaicans are the biggest hypocrite on God's earth. They will cuss the diaspora players about how they go play for England, you know, they're born in England, and they only want to come when they're rejects and they're past their prime. And then we have prime Jamaican track and field athletes who go for the money, and they're like, yeah, take the money and go, man. It's all right. We'll do the same to me and my family. I am not hating on anybody, but don't be a goddamn hypocrite, okay? Be consistent in your perspective. If you're a patriot, you're a patriot, even though the diaspora players are not born in Jamaica, but you're mandate and come play for Jamaica, and you're reject, and then you have nothing negative to say about the people who go run for Turkey, even though they're born in Jamaica, grew up in Jamaica, train in Jamaica, leverage Jamaica infrastructure and support system and coaching to get where they are, and then dash out Jamaica for money. Come on, like Judas. I don't support them. Can't have it both ways. Be fair, right? Be fair. Don't be hypocrites. Be fair. Treat everybody the same. Don't go with the same local born versus overseas born. Treat people the same, no matter where they're born or what persuasion they are, whatever it is. Be fair. Oh, there's a Cranky. I watched Sharika last week when she won, but it wasn't impressive. Something ain't the same with her. Yeah, no, it's not the same Sharika. First of all, nobody should be pulling Sharika in, right? Sharika shouldn't get run down by anybody because she's a 400-meter runner by history, by where she started out, and she was good at it, right? She was good at it. That's why she's like a boat. You start with the 4, you come down to the 1 and 2. You're supposed to still have the strength. All you got to work on is the speed. So her injury hasn't helped her out at all because since she's come back, it's not been the same Sharika. Remember, Sharika was running under 22 people for a long period of time. You know? She has run under 22 in a while, right? She's not going 10-7s anymore. She's not going 21x. She's going 22. She's going late 10-8s and 10-9s and 11. It's not a good look. So I don't expect much from Sharika. If Talou runs like she's running now, even though she always chokes, I hate to use that term, and if you have Melissa Jefferson and you have who's the unicorn? Melissa Jefferson, national unicorn, and then you have the St. Lucian, then I don't see us meddling. Cranky Life, them use Jamaica to get Turkish citizens. Yeah, well, they got it. Even though they still compete on the Jamaica banner, but that will soon change. We soon recognize them. Cranky as we get older. Yeah, but she's not 30 yet, right? She's not 30 yet, Dr. Dan. So it's a little bit surprising that some people finish faster than others, but she's not 30 yet. So it's a little bit surprising that that's happening. And my hope is that as she goes closer to the World Championship, she'll get back to what we know as Sharika. That may never happen, actually. My biggest disappointment when it comes to the women is that Tia Clayton will not be running the 100. Very disappointing. What's also disappointing is that the Clayton twins are not running the 200 like they used to. Remember they used to run the 200 quite a bit in champs, for example, and do really well? Not surprising. She's 30, 31. I thought she was like 29, actually. Maybe she is. But even at that age, you're supposed to be just passing your peak. So, or close to your peak or past your peak. And in today's environment, peak used to be late 20s. People are extending that peak period. So, but it's really interesting that Tia is our best 100-meter runner for the woman, and she's not in the team. They should bring her into the relays. She finished down the track at trials because she got hurt. But she's the best right now. I mean, she's beaten Tina easily. And Tina was the better of the two at one point. Tina was a double under 20 champion, but it's not working. It's not working like it used to. Tia is the best, and she's not able to run because obviously, unlike some countries, Jamaica is not like the US, but similar in that it's based on places. They do have a little bit of discretion, but the only person who could drop out is Shelly, and I'm sure Shelly's not going to give up her swan song to let Tia run. So that's not happening at all. So we'll see what happens. But it should be very interesting, actually, in terms of the World Championship. I'm really looking forward to the World Championship. I will do watch along for the World Championship because I think it should be really interesting and should be good. Yeah, she will be, but Tia is running much better. In fact, you watched that race the other day. What did Tia run? 1082? Yeah, Tia is running much better, actually, than any other sprinters, frankly. So I know Ashanti Moore made the qualifying time, but I don't expect her to play. So it's going to be interesting how that works out. But I didn't come to stay long, people. This is an hour show, and I already passed my hour. I want to say a couple of things. First of all, as an Arsenal fan, I'm extremely pleased to see we maybe getting Eze. That was the biggest disappointment for Arsenal fans. Just looking around and thinking we're going to get Eze and no Eze, and goalkeepers look poor, and none of the new signings stood out. And then to hear me get Eze today, and we know how good Eze is great. And then to watch the race today, and it's not only that, you know what? I need to watch the race again. I'm sorry, I need to watch the race again. Not only did Oblique win, look at these people. It's not even close. It's like he's running against. Look at Simbini. Look at Lyles. Look at, you know what? It's where is Zonel Hughes? I thought Zonel was in the race. Did he not run? Let me see it again. Maybe play this about 100 times. Zonel Hughes finished, what, 5th? Zonel has a blistering last 30 normally, but so Oblique won. They gave Noah the second, even though he had the same time as Ackeem. Simbini came 4th. Zonel Hughes came 5th. Simbini remind me of Safa. Run good in prelims and in big race coming disappear. If Tia wins Diamond League final, she gets a bye in the World Championship. Yeah, but if you're running against Melissa Jefferson and Juliet, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works, people. I don't. You think that's possible? And just Pia Melissa. Pia Melissa. Right? You gotta Pia Melissa. You gotta pay Melissa and pay Julian Alfred to not run. Because I see nobody beat Melissa anytime soon. I know when Leighton was on, he thinks that Julian can win, but Melissa is running like somebody takes something from him and try to catch them. Yeah, if Jefferson don't run, if Julian don't run, yeah, it's got to be both of them. She can win if none of those two are running, but those two are in a different class. It's those two compete against each other, and then we have the rest. So Melissa ain't run any more Diamond League. Then you got to think about, does Julian Alfred run? And she hasn't been running much either. Some people are shutting down, you know. They're just preparing and tinkering. They don't want anybody to see what they're doing and how they're doing between now and the championship. Tia needs to just keep on running. If that's possible, then, and she can get in that by that route, then that'd be a great thing. But does she have enough points to qualify? It'd be interesting how that works out, though. People, if you ever hit the like button, please do so. But anyway, people, anything else you want to talk about, or we just close the program down? Phone line is open. If you want to call in, as I mentioned before, next week Sunday on Cranky Live and on Balance Views on both channels, we will have Pastor Lansley Blake, otherwise known as Pastor affectionately in the YouTube space, who will be on to talk about the God question. And let me say this to those of you, because I know Jamaicans are extremely religious. As you mentioned, God them start quick. I mean, I understand people who love going on them think they'll get quick when they talk about something else, you know. Jamaican people beat up them chest and go on a certain way. And then you God them start run. Not them start run and hide and put them over them ears. Like them a 5-year-old. I'm not saying people shouldn't be religious. That's your prerogative. You want to celebrate the omnipotent one, is your prerogative. You want to celebrate Jesus, your prerogative. But please open your hearts up and your mind and your ears and your eyes to listen to perspective which may not align with yours. No, we don't want anything to Odell. That not tell me. It should be interesting conversation, Odell. It should be interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see, because I'm sure he's going to have some criteria about how we go about this. So we'll see how that works out. Next week, Sunday, August 31st, 3:30 p.m. Be there, be square. Cranky, having discussion, or Mr. Balance Views, both of them will be here in one host, having discussion. It's not a debate, people. It's not a debate. We're having a conversation about the question of God, about contradictions, about Christianity and Judaism, about morality, just about life in general, all commingled on the concept of God and what that means and what that entails and why things work the way they do. So don't get nervous, don't get concerned, don't get upset, don't get perturbed, because we're having conversation which you get uncomfortable with. Embrace the uncomfortableness of the conversation, understanding that if God didn't want you to ask those questions, you wouldn't have had those questions come up. Or as you guys said, it's of your own free will. So let's exercise our free will and have the conversation. And have, it should be a good attendance, people, because I know we have more Christian than anybody out there. Men, women, whatever, out there in YouTube land and in regular place. Bring them in. Bring your mom and your dad in, your sister, your brothers into the conversation. We probably will take some phone calls as part of the discussion. It's going to be a good discussion, very respectful discussion. It's not a debate. We're going to respect each other's space and perspective and views, but we need to have the conversation and challenge each other. That's very important, that we challenge each other in these forums to talk about these things, because nobody has what I'm going to call omnipotent knowledge or all-inclusive knowledge. You talk about all-inclusive, you go Jamaica, you go hotel. You don't know everything about everything. Not even AI know everything about everything. And AI knows a lot of stuff. Right? So the goal is to come, have the conversation, have the dialogue, challenge, be challenged. And maybe what I'll do is I'll see if I can get some information to inform the view. So I gotta go do some research next week to make sure this really lands really well. And I want anybody to come and get upset with me. But I'm gonna ask the tough questions, because that's what I do. Right? I want to ask the tough questions. And it should be a good conversation. I'm looking forward to it. And before you leave, I know most of you watch these things on these forums and these YouTube channels on your mobile device. As you turn me off, just go to the website, SSNN Live, and sign up, people. I'm trying to get at least 100 people signed up in the next week or so before I start writing more articles. It's going to be good. All right? Please go support the website, people. I try to build it out. Kind of late for your website in times like these where AI take over everything, but go support the website. See, I put it on my Balance View channel and my Cranky Live channel. And I'll sign up by saying this. It's been a wonderful, wonderful day. Eze to Arsenal. I tell you, people, I'm getting texts from England right now. You know what time it is in England? What time is it? About almost 12 o'clock. People now got in bed. People call each other and talk all night. And secondly, Oblique Seville has beaten Noah for what? 3 times straight? No. What? 3 of the last 4 times they meet, I think. He's beaten him. He lost him at the Olympics. So he's beaten him 3 of the last 4 times. And the last 2 times have been extremely convincing. Not even close. His problem is going to be, can he get through the rounds at the World Championship? Can he maintain his mental space? And can he beat Kishane Thompson? Kishane Thompson's problem is going to be when he feels pressure in that big race with Bednarek and Noah and Seville on his shoulder, will he cave in or will he hold his nerves, hold his form, and go to the tape? And Ackeem Blake needs to get better in the last 30. You can't run so well and then last 30 you just disappear. Your form eludes you, start slowing down. You gotta maintain that you gotta maintain that deceleration at a slower pace than the rest of the runners. So people, I am out. I thank you for being here as usual. It is great having you. And I will probably do a show tomorrow on the Reggae Boys. Yes. I think it's time to talk. I need to go to the shrink, talk about the Reggae Boys. I can go to the psychiatrist, talk about the Reggae Boys. So join me tomorrow, people. We have a Reggae Boys conversation. Or a Reggae Boys. You know when you go to the psychiatrist, you're going to the shrink, even though I've never been to a shrink, but I assume I see it on TV. You go lie down in the chair and express your concern and frustration and talk about your life history and experiences and what your challenges are. We're going to have that conversation tomorrow because we don't need it. Trust me. All right? So hit the like button before you leave. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I think I'm going to do an outro today. I'm going to do an outro. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Peace out.